Hey, boxing fans, welcome to InThisCornerTV.com. I'm Smitty, and we're joined by legendary broadcaster Al Bernstein from Showtime. You guys are involved in one of the, what I think is really a cool thing coming up, the Super Super Middleweight tournament.
Yeah, this is the World Boxing Classic that's going to pit 6 fighters in a semi-round robin tournament, and that's the key, I think. It's not single elimination, and that's what gives this, I think, such charm and allure and makes it something that really has a lot of mystery to it. You know, you've got these 3 European fighters, Arthur Abraham and Carl Froch and Mikkel Kessler, and then 3 Americans, Andre Ward, Andre Durrell, the 2 young former Olympians, and Jermaine Taylor, the veteran. And I think the point is that however you match those 6 guys will end up being a good match.
Now, so that I don't have to do it, will you explain how this works?
Oh gosh. Well, you know, it's in 3. It's stage 1, 2, and 3. Where in stage 1, obviously, they're going to fight each other, and you get a point for a win, and you get an extra point for a knockout. And so you add up those points, and then when you get after 3 stages, they're going to see, or after 2 stages, they're going to see who is the top 4, and then they're going to fight in the semifinals and then the finals.
Some great stylistic matchups, too, with these guys. Who are you looking forward to see?
You know, in the first round, of course, we've got Abraham and Jermaine Taylor. And that's fascinating because Jermaine Taylor will outbox him for however many rounds. He can outbox him. And then Arthur Abraham will either get to Jermaine Taylor with his power after he comes out of his defensive shell, or he won't. And we just saw Jermaine Taylor against Carl Froch, where he was winning that fight. And literally all he had to do was stay on his feet, couldn't do it, or was, TKO'd. And so I think the Abraham-Taylor fight is an interesting one from a style standpoint. The fight I'm going to do in England, Andre Durrell and Carl Froch, is also intriguing because Andre Durrell is completely untested, has maybe the most athletic skills of everybody in that contest, in the tournament. But Carl Froch has a rock-solid chin, lots of power, and is fighting on his home turf. And then finally, in the first round, the Ward-Kessler matchup. Mikkel Kessler is probably the favorite in this tournament. That doesn't mean he's going to win it, but at this moment he deserves to be the favorite. And Andre Ward is the sleeper to a lot of people. And I think from a purely fundamental standpoint, that matches the 2 most sound fundamental fighters in the tournament.
One of the things you and I agree on is the fact that we think, you and I do, that boxing's in a pretty good position right now. Tell us why.
Well, I think it is because the product's better. The product that boxing's putting out there now is, I think, better than it has been for a couple decades. The 1990s, to me, were an abyss for boxing. People weren't making the matches they needed to make. When they did make big matches, they were often mismatches. And that's ultimately what stopped the mainstream media from covering the sport. And around 2000 or so, they stopped covering the sport. And ironically, about 2001 and 2 is when boxing started making the product better. Now that the product has been better, the coverage is edging back a little bit from the mainstream media in the United States, but it is covered well around the world. And I think boxing is better because the fights that fans want to see are being made, and I think also boxing has gained exponentially in terms of its audience around the world.
One great product that boxing has, Al Bernstein.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.